Dumb of me. Welcome in. It's another week of RMAC Weekly. Draper, he's on his way. He's just running a little behind with work. We had another exciting week of football, to say the least. We had a huge game. Oh man, I really want to wait for Draper. So here we'll just jump to the highlights of the game, and then hopefully Draper makes it in time so we could break it down afterwards. But the big game I'm talking about is Mines and Western met for the 100th time, the longest running rivalry in the state of Colorado. Western was holding that edge. I want to say it was 53-44 and a tie or two in there heading into this one. But Mines had won 7 of the last 10. Obviously, Western got over the hump last year, which was a huge accomplishment for their program and whatnot. It was a huge game, kind of like Mines fighting for their playoff lives. Western wanted to remain undefeated. Went down in Gunnison. I was there. I was boots on the ground. I will warn you, we don't have some highlights from the first quarter where Mines did jump out to an early lead, but we do have highlights from the game, and we'll just jump right into those. You got Drew Nash. This is where Mines gets on the board. He finds DJ Allen on the quick little slant on the inside after driving down the field. Um, Mines, they would go into halftime with the lead, but you're going to see these two touchdowns. Got to give a lot of credit to Joe McClain and the play calling, and then Caden Meisner winning that one-on-one with Joel Diaz there. But Joseph Capra, the guy I've been talking up, this is why. Scrambling, getting out the pocket, but still looking downfield, finding his guy in Joshua Best down there, down the field for a touchdown. But we're going to jump to the second half, and the freshman sensation, Quinn Bailey, gets in for a touchdown. And then that defense, the second half adjustments by Coach Auer and the gang on the defensive end, they really started shutting things down. That was Drew Johnson there. Caden Stewart with a big hit, finishing that one off, sniffing out that screen to Max Barnes, who had gotten loose earlier in the game, like I said, for a long score. And then we got Lamar Nash here. He had a similar run to this last year in the game. I think last year's was a little bit longer, but able to find that crease and showing off that deceptive speed of his. You got the fourth down here, Caden Musser going over the top, but you see that stout Mountaineers front, that front seven that we've been talking up all season, heading into the year, and then Drew Nash, being presidential. Ramon Ruiz had a huge day. He didn't get into the end zone, but he showed a lot of toughness. Took a big hit early in the game, stayed in, kept playing, and then Quinn Bailey, man. He does it all. He's a smaller guy, a little bit more diminutive, but Jesus, he's athletic and he's a lot more powerful than you think. My guy Jackson Zimmerman showing DBs keep competing. It looked like DJ might have had the play on him. Jackson plays it through his hands, tips and overthrows. He tipped it to himself. But Western, they finish it off. Quinn Bailey getting in for the score. That was the decisive one. Mines ends up actually getting blanked in the second half. Western wins 40-17, pretty dominant fashion. Like I said, I was there, boots on the ground. The first half, Mines came out. They came out and punched Western in the mouth, and I think it was impressive on Western's end. I think they fired back in the second quarter. They definitely punched back, getting those two scores. But going into halftime, losing at halftime, I imagine that locker room, there had to be a lot of high emotions and whatnot for them, for those guys to come out and have the performance they had in the second half, truly just shutting Mine's offense down. It was really, really impressive to watch firsthand. It gives me a lot of confidence heading into the big game, the big game that I think is probably the biggest game in D2 this week. With Pueblo, we're gonna preview that. I'm definitely gonna wait for Draper. Come on, Draper, you gotta hurry up because I definitely need his take on that one and which way he's gonna lean. But again, Western super impressive. They look like the number 5 team in the country by my point of view. I think Drew Nash, he's continuing his magical season. He ended up having that one interception. That's only his second of the year against 22 touchdowns. Him and Roman Fuller, both top 5 in the country in touchdown passes right now. It was just a really impressive performance all around. On the Mines end, I'm not as down on Mines as most people. Mines was really high up. It's gonna be like that when you have John Matoka, a quarterback and a player of just that caliber. Obviously, there's going to be a drop off. Not to mention all the other guys they lost. They're growing. There's a lot of young guys playing. A lot of guys getting snaps that haven't before. And I think it's a rebuilding process. 5-3 isn't a bad record, and they still have an opportunity. They still have more games to play. They can finish 8-3, and I think that would be very commendable for where they're at as a program, as they reload, as these guys grow up and get older. So I'm not as down on mines. This is a really special bunch from Western. I think it's a credit to Western. I don't think mines needs to be kicked while they're down necessarily. This is tough business, and when you're playing the number 5 team in the country, this is how it can look. But moving along, we still got no Draper. Come on, man. But we had Fort Lewis traveling, making the trip up to Grand Junction to play Mesa, coming off that really devastating loss out in Las Vegas last weekend against Highlands. The Mavs, they get back on track. We actually do. We have a little bit of highlights from this game. You'll see though, like Fort Lewis, they punched and they were fighting. You got Solomon Latimer coming up with a touchdown in the back of the end zone. That's called a score. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure. I didn't see the replay of that one in slow mo necessarily, but hey, it was called a touchdown. But the real story of this game is the Mavs ground game. Aiden Taylor, I think this is like his third or fourth straight game with over 100. He's really been turning it up as the season's been going on. He's not far off. I do think he'll hit that 1,000-yard clip, but not to be outdone. Brandon Belgrave, the slippery, super man, the balance, the contact balance, the amount of hits and stuff he can take, and the amount of I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now. The amount of tackles that he breaks. The first or second guy never tackles him. That was on full display. A guy that was making a ton of tackles though on the other side, Jacob Penny. I've been talking about Penny all year. Hey, hey, if you want to, don't don't challenge me with a good time, JD. I'll shoot you that link right now, actually. But Jacob Penny, back to him. 21 tackles, two in the backfield. The pace that he's on, he's well over 100 tackles. Like I said, I just think he deserves a lot of credit for just the durability. He's a linebacker. He's dealing with linemen on a constant basis, hitting these big guys, tackling huge guys like Aiden Taylor and Belgrave, big solid running backs, and he's been doing this against the best of the best. He had the 12 tackles in the sack versus Pueblo, 21 against one of the more stout ground games in Mesa. I think this guy should be on everybody's radar. I think he's one of the best. Oh yeah, okay. We'll save it, JD. We'll save it for the playoffs because the playoffs are going to be wild. Nonetheless, I think Jacob Penny truly is one of the best linebackers in the nation. I think he should be up for all the accolades and the awards. The guy is just extremely productive and extremely durable, and in a time where not a lot of guys are. I think he's like 20 or 30 tackles ahead of the next guy in the conference. So big shout out to him. Another huge game on his end. On the offensive end, you see the only two scores for the Skyhawks, but it's a growing process. Guys like Solomon Latimer, he's only a sophomore, but he's growing bit by bit. I think you're seeing it from the Skyhawks, and I think holding Mesa to 24, I think that's commendable too. I'm sure Mesa was very upset coming off that Highland loss and probably wanted to have a big game. It was a Hall of Fame weekend. I'm sure they wanted to score a lot more than 24. Credit to the Skyhawks defense for showing well for themselves out in Grand Junction. Dyke should probably ban from Nah, man, it's all love out here. It's all love. Regardless of the takes, we love JD out this way. I'm hoping to see JD for a playoff game. Depending on this seating and who gets these home games, we might have to get him out here for one. But moving along to our last game, we only had 3 games last week. The week 0 slate guys, they all had a bye last week. But we had Highlands and Adams, and Highlands, they continue rolling. They moved to 5-3. on the Adams end, another, how do I say this respectfully? Not the best showing on the defensive end, nor the offensive end. Just overall, Adams is they're truly starting from ground up after the season they had last year, bringing in the new coach, massive roster changes. This is gonna be a tough process. And to quote Coach Cox from Fort Lewis a couple years ago when he first got that job, this is not for the meek. Rebuilding a program from the ground up, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. So, you got to take your lumps. On the Highlands end, hey, look at that. He's here. Oh, you got no audio. You got to unmute yourself. Oh, man. Come on. Can you hear me? Oh, man.
Now can you hear me?
Oh, we got you.
There we go. Sorry. Work got me all wrapped up. I'm happy to be here. Let's talk some football, man.
Hey, here. Let's just
I
let's just go back. Here, you want me to run? I'm just gonna run the highlights back. So I'm not sure. I'm sure you watched the game, but you know,
mhm.
tell me what you're thinking as you watch these. We don't have that first quarter joint, but what are you thinking? How impressed were you with Western, and maybe how unimpressed were you with Mines, or were you impressed with Mines on their end too? Like, what were your takes watching this game last Saturday?
It was a tale of two halves, really. First half, I thought mine's the way they played. I thought they were winning this game the whole way. I want to say one thing though. I mean, dude, there were some hits in this game. Like
Oh man.
everybody was hitting, and I was like, oh, we're just gonna allow them to hit. There was one weak call called on Dre, but I thought that was a really clean
That was
hit.
clean. That was
I thought it
clean.
was a really clean hit, just vicious football hit. The intention of I'm just going to go through your chest, not aiming for
Here's
your
a big
head.
one right here. K Stu and Max Barnes. These are two stout boys, big boys,
Mhm.
colliding with each other. It was a physical game out there for sure.
Definitely whatever Coach Baines said at half got into them, and these guys they got fired up and they were ready to play. The president right there thought the turf monster was going to take him down, and then I also thought his teammate was going to trip him here. I always got scared when I see my teammates run together that you're going to trip each other. Um, but I
That's
mean,
Lamar Nash. Ain't no turf monster getting him.
Lamar Nash, is that what you said?
Lamar Nash.
I love it. But man, I mean, coming out in the second half, Western, they showed that, yeah, we've had an easier schedule, but we're the same team. They've had games where West Texas 21-21 in the first half, then coming out second half and just showing that that's who we are. We're not going to give up. We're going to play for all four quarters. And can you keep your fire lit just like we can keep our fire lit? And I mean, it goes into coming this week. Great play, by the way. High point the ball,
Oh,
way to take
oh,
away that ball.
hey, man! Amazing play for the DBs out there.
But just foreshadowing. I think if they come out this next week like this in the second half, it's going to be a great game. But you just got to give it to Western. They didn't quit, especially going into half. You obviously didn't have the greatest first half that you wanted, and then you turned it on the second half and showed that this is our culture. We're not a team that's just going to go away at half. We battle through the ebbs and flows of the game, and I was really impressed with that. I was impressed with how they made Capra not feel comfortable in multiple
Oh yeah.
ways, and that's hard because statistically wise, I think we had this fight last week that we were saying that these two quarterbacks who's they could be either one spot, and I think Drew showed that no, I'm the president. You can eventually you can eventually take over, but for right now, this is my reign of supreme.
Hmm.
But man, I mean, what a great game. The score says 40-17, but I mean, if you actually watched all four quarters, it was a good game. It was
Hmm.
violent, like you want to watch football. And it was an old rivalry. I'm surprised this also doesn't have a trophy to it just because of how
It's
long it's
it.
been.
When I was previewing it before I ran the video initially, like it was the 100th meeting
Yeah.
between the two. It's the longest running rivalry in Colorado, per the Mines Athletics website. But yeah, it was a great game. Drew Nash, and I think that second half you just really saw I don't want to. I'm not trying to. Respectfully, I think you saw the Western won the coaching matchup in the second half. The adjustments they made to skunk them in the second half, uh, it was big time. It was
Yep.
big time. So, all credit to Western. That's what the number 5 team in the country. That's why they're ranked number 5 in the country because they can deliver like that when adversity strikes. But our guy Jacob Penny, man, 21 tackles. What we got to say? What we got to say? Obviously, Mesa gets the win. That's the bigger point. But I had already talked about that. The 21 tackles just jumps off the page, man. Jesus.
That's flying around. I mean, the linebacker that I can compare that kind of to is Brandon Pear. You know, from what he did, he used to fly around. Jacob Penny, he doesn't look the size of a linebacker, and the fact that he's running around and doing this and being a linebacker and
And
bringing
being
the hits,
violent. And
yes.
being violent.
The hit on Belgraves in the backfield was just, chef kiss. I mean, form tackle all the way down. I mean, we said this last week. This guy doesn't get the recognition he deserves because he plays for Fort Lewis. In reality, you put him on any team in the RMAC, he's still playing. You put him at Harding, he's still gonna play. You put him at Fair State, he's still gonna play. It might not be backer, but he's still gonna play. That's just the athlete of who he is, and he deserves that recognition. And he's a guy that shows up week in and week out, and that's what you want. When I was first watching this game, I was scared because Fort Lewis went down there and scored, and I was like, "Oh, is this going to be a game?" And then Mesa kind of kicked it on, and they were able to produce their run like they want to with their attacks.
Was this a touchdown?
I honestly, I don't know. I wish we could slow it down, like truly slow it down. But
I should have, but
I don't, dude. It's such a bang bang call. It's something you go off the field. I really thought Cash was gonna pick it. That's one of Cash's his thing, right? Aiden Taylor, I mean, running through contact, getting outside, keeping that train going in the end zone.
I just realized I had another snafu on the graphic, so I don't even want to show him. But Aiden Taylor went for another. He went for 100 again. He's getting close to 1,000. He's gonna cross 1,000 this year, I believe.
Man, I'm telling you though, if they had Belgrave to start the season, where are they at? Are they still in the same position? Because he adds a feature to that running back room that just helps. And it's kind of, in a weird way, I kind of say it for Cash too, because imagine he gets all the reps. He gets back. He's in his natural form. You're a DB. I'm a DB. When you come off of a plantar fasciitis or how it is in turf toe, that sucks to break off of. It's not fun. It's the name turf toe doesn't even give you what
People
it
don't
actually
understand.
is. Yeah, they should really call it like snap broken toe. Like it's terrible. It's not the funnest feeling.
Feels like toe breaks every time it bends.
Yeah, and so just where would they be at? I was impressed with the fact that they went out there, they scored, they kept doing it and kept being the culture that they're trying to produce, and Mesa and just running that ball. The quarterback situation was crazy, seeing them kind of go everywhere. It obviously worked, and we've seen that kind of in a lot of places, in a lot of teams, that they're running 2 quarterback system. I mean, Grand Valley runs 4 quarterback system, it seems like. And which, on side fact, sad that game didn't go the way I thought, but I did call it a close game. But yeah, I mean, Mesa, I wonder what the what ifs were, right? You have these 2 guys, you're playing like how you are now, and not you get that back at the beginning of the season. You kind of wish you had some of those games back, but overall, again, I was impressed. They got the W. Jacob Penny, absolute dog, like we said, week in and week out. He's going to show up this next week. He's probably going to have another 20 tackles, and then are we going to maybe start looking at him being an All-American potential? Like, he's up there. He's up there. I know he's Fort Lewis, but man, I've seen people on some teams get the recognition that I don't even know if that's a word, but
recognition.
Yeah, recognition. Freaking like Black Hills. The Black Hills guy got the All-American. We were both playing safety, and
oh yeah, Drew Hebel.
Yep. And I thought my stats were comparable to that, but he was such an. If you take Jacob Penny out of that defense, their scores are way worse. That defense is struggling a lot more.
They've come a long way just from last year. Like I'm really impressed with the defensive effort. You love to see the offensive end, but one last thing with Penny before he's the player of the week. We can talk more about this once we get to that. Our last game of the week was Highlands and we kind of called this. We figured that Highlands would handle business in Alamosa, and they went and did that. Jeffrey Jones, another 150-yard game. I almost think I'm bad luck for the guy. The two times I've seen him in person are the two games he hasn't gone for 100 yards. Like, is it me? Do I gotta stop? Do I gotta leave my man? I just love watching him play. He's so exciting. Like, do I have to let it go?
I think we gotta let him get his stats now. We've got a couple views on him now. Maybe it's not you. Maybe I don't want to say it is you. This isn't a relationship, but I don't know. It could be me. It could be I don't know. But dude, I mean, this game again. It's
I,
it is
I
what it is.
I
But
quoted Coach Cox a couple years ago when I was at media day when he had kind of first taken over that Fort Lewis job. He was talking about just what it was really going to take to turn them around, and he said a quote that really struck me. He said, "This is not for the meek." That's where Adams is right now. Like, it's a new coach, half the roster left. This is, I hate to say it, but this is par for the course, kind of.
yeah, I mean, you got to take your bumps, and I mean, we've seen it from. I mean, look at when I was coaching at Mesa, we had to take our bumps. When I was, obviously at Fort Lewis, we had to watch them take their
Shadron,
bump.
Shadron
Shadron.
been taking some bumps the last few years,
I
and
mean, think about when we were playing until Western got there my senior year. They were
we
taking.
used we used to be giving Western the bumps,
Yep, and
and now
now,
look at Western on top.
yep, look at their culture. So I mean, both these programs are on the right track. I truly do. Especially if side note with New Mexico Highlands, I think if they get that facility approved and on the way,
Oh
man,
my
the
gosh!
new Highlands is really coming.
It-
Adams, I think if you can buy into what you're being actually coached and they're able to bring in their guys and they're on the right tracks. You have to learn how to take the bumps, and then here pretty soon you have to learn how to win the games. And that only comes with experience and actually having guys that are your guys throughout. Man, I'm excited though to see on Adams a name pop up with Blaine Peebles, a kid from Colorado Mesa, was one of my scout kids every day. Yes, sir, kid. Like I'm happy to see him finally getting some reps because he wasn't able to get that opportunity at Mesa, and I just want to give him his flowers because he's done everything that I ever asked him to do. He did it right, and now somebody's finally given him the chance to go out there and obviously produce in games. So I'm happy to see his name, Gavin. I'm always happy to see Gavin play. I'm happy that he's back. I know it's struggled to be where he's at, but that's a great stone to have to build the type of culture you're having is to have a quarterback like that because Gavin's not a selfish guy. He's that guy that's going to reach out to be a great teammate, and that's what you have to build a culture. So I'm happy to see him scoring. His passing percentage is about like his tackling percentage, 50-50. But you have to be able to take and do what's given to you. And I
Mhm.
do think they're going to get a chance to get a win this year. We're going to see that here in a few weeks, but we don't know.
Lewis, man, Fort Lewis, can you get it? Can you get an RMAC? I feel like Fort Lewis's opportunity for an RMAC win is Adams, and Adams' opportunity for a win is Fort Lewis. So, that game has a lot more ramifications than people think, actually,
Yeah.
from my point of view. But before we leave this one on the Highlands side, I just want to give his stat lines not crazy, 95 yards, one touchdown. But Colin Stuckey, the true freshman quarterback, since he's been inserted as a starter, like I was there when he first started getting his reps late in the Western game, and then he started that Pueblo game the next week. He lost that Pueblo game. They're the number 8 team in the country. But since then, I want to say he hasn't lost a game as a starter. He lost to Shadner game. He lost to Shadner game, which is another fringe top 25 team. But I'm really impressed with that guy. Obviously, I was giving him his flowers for that game winning drive last week, but went out and handled business again. 5-3. This is Highland's best start since 2012. So big time stuff out of Highlands. If you haven't seen it, that's my fault. Bad producing on my end. I should have the tweet for in here, but go to Highlands athletics page or the New Mexican. I want to say is the publication. But big things happening. They're looking to build a whole brand new athletics facility. It looks awesome and beautiful. I really hope that happens. I think that could elevate the profile of not just their athletics, but the entire school, and just the city of Las Vegas, New Mexico. So I believe they're breaking ground on that next summer, if I'm not mistaken. So big time stuff. The New Highlands,
The
but
new one.
our players of the week, we got the president being really presidential, Mr. Jacob Penny, and then Alexander Britt from Highlands, the freshman kicker, Colorado kid, if I'm not mistaken. So impressive performances on all three parts of Drew Nash. You saw just efficient dual threat, showing running ability, showing passing ability. Jacob Penny just being a menace everywhere, literally. Being like, are we sure there's just one of them? Are we sure he doesn't have a superpower?
Dude, that's what I was
Isn't that
thinking. I was coming in my
universal?
head. I was thinking like we have Gary's name's Captain America. I mean, that's what Dom said it was. I mean, what is this Deadpool? Is this Pennywise or something? He's got to get a nickname eventually. But I mean, Pennywise.
I think it has to actually be a villain nickname because he is just so violent.
I really want to say it's going to be Pennywise. I mean, he's just there. He just shows up. You know he's going to make the tackle, make the play, and he's a villain. I mean, you're scared of him when you see him on the
Except
other side of you, right?
it's not every 27 years. It's once a week.
Once a week, yeah. Every 27 plays, he's making at least
Every
14
27
tackles.
plays, he's making somebody reconsider why they showed up.
Yeah, I mean, strong. I mean, again, all three of these guys did their job, and that's why they got the recognition that they're supposed to have. But my stud of the week is Jacob Penny. We called it last week of, I think I said he was going to have 65 tackles if they have 65 plays, and you said quote for quote 25, I believe. So we're both not too far off.
You, you know what's crazy? So you made the comparison to Payer, and I love that comparison. But you know what makes Penny so impressive? He's like half of like
The
if we
size,
just took the mass of Payer and we
yep,
stood them next to each other, you'd be like, they play the same position.
yeah, I know. I mean, and Brandon Pierre was a freak, dude. Like he's six, I want to say 6'2", 6'3", 245, 255. I mean, they're not even the same, but they play the exact same. That's was crazy.
Yeah. But moving along, we want to look at the top 25, the new updated top 25. Like you said, you see we've got two of our squads in that top 10. We still don't have Shattered in the top 25. I'm gonna have to have a talk with those pollsters. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But what's your takeaway from this? Is anything jump out or stand out to you? How about Central Washington jumping Pueblo?
Yeah, I mean they showed a stronger with the game that they have shared. I guess being Mesa, they showed that stronger win on it. So I see that's why they're in front of them, and they truly do have a stronger strength of schedule.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like look what they've had to battle. I I'm really shocked that we haven't seen Shatterton. I don't think Shatterton's getting their flowers just yet, but they win one of these next two games, they're going to be in it.
They're gonna be in it.
The thing that just really bothers me is I don't know half these teams, and that just makes me feel really bad. I couldn't name you 22 through 25. I really don't know who they are. Like,
Okay. Okay. 22 is Albany State.
okay,
23 West Alabama. 24 Northwood. 25. 25. You got me there. You got me there.
yeah, 25 could be literally anybody. Did Clemson drop down to D2? They were so bad. Like, I'm trying to figure it
Dabo
out.
probably wants to
Yeah,
enhance NIL
he's
so
like,
much.
get me out of this. Get me back down to a level I can win on. But I mean, yeah, I still think, actually this last week, number one might not be number one overall, especially with the Grand Valley game. They might be. I might be looking too much into it, and it might be the rivalry game. I said,
They won. They won it. It was last week.
yeah. I mean, and I'm saying like they won that game, but in reality they should have won it by a lot more than what it really was. I still think Harding is Harding. They are tough
So
to beat.
you rank Harding above them.
I do. I'd
So they
put
had a
Harding.
close game. So they had a close rivalry game.
I would put Harding number one just because I really just I don't want to see. I want to see somebody else win it. I don't know why. I'm like we played the whole time with Ferris, but I thought the Grand Valley game was just I don't know if you Grand Valley's game plan just confused me because you had a guy that was able to sling it, then you had another guy that was able to run it, but we're gonna keep switching them out, and then we're gonna put a third guy in there that can't do either one, and then we're gonna go back to this. And it was just really, I was like, man, what is going on? I still think number four is the weakest out of the top five. I forgot who was hating on me on that one, but you can keep hating on me. Pitt State, you're getting a little bit of my respect, but you should still probably be about 15, 16. Uh,
No, man, no.
7, 8, 9, good spots. 10's a good spot. 11, I think they're the Cinderella dark horse team. Northwest Missouri, if they come back to be in Northwest Missouri, I still think that's a good team.
Like the Northwest,
Yeah,
yeah, from our
I,
era, man, oh man.
I think that's a really good Indianapolis. They've got the history of Pueblo, so I'd love to see how that somehow lines back up again. And then UTPB, that's the other team that I want to see them do great. They got to win out and have some losses happen for it to really happen. But yeah, I mean, hey, we got a few leagues left. This is all going to shake up this next week for sure, and it's even
Oh
get
yeah.
shaken up even more
Somebody
next week.
somebody in the top 10 is coming out of it. Like we already know that.
Yep. And I'm Dykstra kind of said it, but Kutztown and Central Washington being flipped, I would agree with that. I would honestly
Dykstra
see
with the other assist, 25 is
yeah,
Frostburg State.
Mossberg.
Dykstra, legend, man. Legend. But moving along, next week we got a full slate again, man. 5 games. Uh we all know what the big one is. Let's just jump right into it. Number 8, traveling for the second year in a row. I don't know why it's like this, but they're traveling to Gunnison again for a the biggest matchup in D2 this week, bar none. Western and Pueblo meeting for the rematch. Last year this game was fireworks. Pueblo jumped out on them. Drew Nash he did the presidential thing. He put Western on his back, tried to drag him back. He wasn't able to come out victorious, but it was an amazing game last year. You see how close they are in statistics in the RMAC ranks. They're just 1 and 2 in everything. Like Pueblo's 1 in most offensive categories, and Western is 1 in most defensive categories. It's gonna be amazing. I I'm still trying to decide who I'm going to pick right now. What's your thoughts heading into this? What are the key matchups to you? Like obviously, here you go first, and I'll tell you what my huge matchups are that I think are going to decide this game.
Truthfully, my overall is just going to be the play of whoever wins the trenches. It's really going to come down to that because offense for Pueblo, we've seen them struggle with the O line. We've seen it happen, especially with the Central Missouri game. We're going against a really good defense. That's even better than what you've seen all year.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be the best defense you've seen all year.
Yep, and so they're going to be flying around. They've got that. Western has that itch in them because they were so close last year to getting it that I just think it propels them in this game. And that's something that's hard to fight for. Like I don't know how to explain it other than really I've got Western winning by 7. They're getting their revenge. They're going to be able to establish the trenches a lot better than what I think Pueblo will be. And I think the run game is really what's going to divide it. And the quarterback play is going to also jump into that. But Nash being as dual threat as what he is just what's going to evaluate. I don't know how that word. I was trying to say put him above, but that's just what I see kind of happening.
I think the matchups that are really going to decide this are actually, obviously the trenches. That decides every game. If one team is heavily winning the trenches, they're probably going to win the ball game. But I think this is going to come down to Can the Western DBs can they slow down this potent passing attack by Pueblo? Because Pueblo can do it in a bunch of ways. You know, if Ricky and the boys are getting after Roman and he can't be taking the 5-step drops to hit people down the field for the big plays, they can dink and dunk you, you know, to death. Like Rakowski, what his last game had like 9 for like 120. Pueblo has 4 receivers that I think could truly probably be number ones on other teams. Reggie, arguably the best receiver in the country. DTA definitely would be a number one on any other team that he was on. I think Marcellus Honeycutt is a fringe number one receiver, and then Rakowski, the veteran. Western, what is it going to look like? Can they, when Pueblo puts them in situations when they get their DBs in one-on-one situations, which is what Coach Dodge and the boys are going to be aiming to do, can the Western guys hold up in coverage? I think, I hate to say this, me being a small guy in a small corner myself, I wasn't the biggest. I'm only 5'9", but it's going to look crazy, some of the matchups. Like when Reggie and DTA are out there and Javon Young and Ramon Pacheco are out there, and if they press up, it's going to look insane. What do these matchups actually look like? For a pick, man, this is hard. This is hard. I've been thinking about this all day. I was at work all day thinking about this. I went with Pueblo last year, and I was proven right. Um, it's so hard to pick against the president. It's so hard to pick against the president, and I don't think I can do it. I really don't think I can do it. I did it last year, and I felt bad doing it. So I don't think I can do it this year. Um, I think I think the key for Western to win, which I'm going to pick Western to win. I'm going to pick it close. I think Western wins by 7 or less. But I'm going to pick Western to win because I think this is the game that Ricky Freeman. I'm calling on Ricky Freeman to play like the D2 National Player of the Year, Defensive National Player of the Year last year. If he can wreck this game like he did mines last year, I think Western can get out of here with the dub, and I'm going to pick him to do that. I think guys like K Stu are going to play huge factors in this game. You know, small known fact, he actually started his career at Pueblo, so I know he's going to be excited and motivated for this one. But I do think it's going to be fireworks. I think Pueblo's going to give Western all they can handle. I think we saw a little bit of a preview with that last week, with the way Mines came out and punched him in the mouth. I think Pueblo definitely has the ability to do that, which I'm going to warn you now, Western. Don't let Pueblo come out and punch you like last week, because I don't think it'll be a 10-point hole. I think it'll be a lot deeper. I think you got to come out with that same mentality you came out with in the second half, and it has to be right away. But I think Western can do it. I think Coach McClain, his creative play calling, and his ability to get guys open in space it's gonna prove true for the Mountaineers, and I think they're gonna get it done close. I know that's probably gonna piss off all the Pueblo people. Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Rukowski. I just think that this is a really special bunch from Gunnison, and I think they're gonna hold serve at home. So that's who I got. Let's play devil's advocate, Draper. What does Pueblo need to do to win this game? You know, we talked about it really from a Western. We both think Western's going to win, so that's how we talked about it. But say we were picking Pueblo, how do they win this game?
It's going to come out with creating turnovers on the defense.
They're really good at that.
Yep, they're going to need to win that turnover margin. Time of possession, because Western is great about eating up the clock. But the third thing is protecting Roman Fuller, giving him the time that allows him to actually read through the defense, get to the second progression. And then fourth is going to be great special teams play. Every time they've had a great special teams full unit, either being field goals, kickoffs, punts, punt return, every time you've seen them have a great game special teams, they've won that game. Every time they've had struggles, the game's been closer, or, they've lost. And that's, they've lost only once, but that was a special teams game. They were in 2 games that were pretty special teams errors. And I get it was at the beginning. Now we got a new unit and stuff like that. But it's really going to come down to hitting those four. Now, side note, I looked up Gunnison's weather this weekend. Game's at 1 o'clock. We're looking
Don't
at
tell me it's gonna be cold.
it's going to be 40 degrees at kickoff. Uh,
Damn it.
Humidity is going to be at 30% with a chance of precipitation. Normally, that means in Gunnison they're going to get snow. So, these are the Mountaineers, what they're used to doing with their common having to deal with it, and Pueblo, which we do have our weather down there. It's usually
Yeah.
gone by 1 o'clock, but we do have our weather. So it's going to be really a true challenge. The only thing to make this a lot funner was if we played it at Mile High and then we added some snow to it. That
Oh
would be the
yeah.
only way to make it a little bit more fun.
I'd say on the Pueblo end, kind of. I think the formula for Pueblo to win is the exact same as last year. Show us you got somebody that can stop. He was number one last year, number 11 this year. Who can stop 11 and who can stop 12? If you don't have anybody that can stop 11 and 12, we're just going to throw it up to them and we're going to trust them to win. And last year they were able to do that big time in a big way. And they were able to get after Drew Nash last year. I can remember Dom, getting pressure on Drew. I want to say Cody had a sack. Makaya had a sack. Makaya Scipio had a sack. Like all those guys, that was a veteran front, the Riston boys. But I think that's going to be huge for Pueblo. Can you affect Drew Nash? And he is the president. He's really presidential. He's used to hecklers and stuff. That doesn't bother him too much. But can you guys really get in his head a little bit, get him thinking and seeing ghosts out there? I think that's going to be huge. Can you force a turnover to K Dot? What you got, K Dot? What you got, big K Dot? You gonna come up with a turnover in the big game? I think this has all the makings of just. I can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait to be there. I'm going up. I believe Dom's gonna be up in attendance as well. We'll have some boots on the ground. This is gonna be wild. I expect Gunnison to show up big. I expect Pueblo. I expect the Pueblo faithful to show up in droves. This is gonna be a wild, wild time. So big game, but that's not the only game. Obviously, we have more in the conference. That's a big one. We had to talk about that. But another huge one. Huge ramifications, obviously not for the playoffs or anything. Like I think it's safe to say that neither one of these teams are really in playoff contention, but huge game just for the ramifications of where do you stand in the hierarchy in the RMAC pecking order? Is Highlands could Highlands really like take that step in only year two of Coach Tofasel and be, you know, be I don't know, theoretically higher on the totem pole than Mines? Could they go and get this done in Golden?
Weirdly enough, I'm going to say yes. I'm actually taking Highlands in the win this week only because I think they aren't as beat up as what Mines is. They're kind of beat up all over,
Mines is beat,
and so
no doubt.
you're going in, and they're already bleeding. You've got guys who are like sharks with the ball, and they actively feed on you the entire time. I just if Highlands defense can hold Mines to 24, 28 points, I think this is a Highlands win. I truly think they're able to produce the points like that. I'd love to see the stats with the last time Highlands beat Mines, when that would be, because that'd be
I
great.
They
I
didn't
don't.
beat them, but they gave them a game that year. They beat you.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think this is a culture game for both of them. It's a culture game for both teams. Highlands, you're establishing yourself as that top mix of dogs. Give us a couple more years, we're going to be the top dog. Mines, your seniors, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as a team that, okay, you didn't make the playoffs, you didn't win the RMAC, didn't even go to the national championship, all these things, and you let it fall, you let that culture slip? Or do you want to be the guys that are like, yeah, we had 3 losses, but we ended this year at 8-3, and we gave the younger group the seeds to grow, and I think it's going to be a Highlands victory. I don't think it's going to be by a lot of points. I'm going to say less than 5 points. But I think this is where Highlands, they get that culture shift of a win that they need.
Ah, I've been on that Highlands train all year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who start? Can I get my flowers for starting the Highlands
Yep,
train?
I'll give you it. You got that. I went opposite of what really would have happened, I guess, with my Fort Lewis love all year. Um, but yeah, you started it. I mean, you started the train the entire way.
I'm gonna say this as the president of the Cowboys fan club. I'm sorry, guys. I don't think they're going in golden and getting a dub. I know, mine's is down right now, but they still got they got to do that quarterback. Think about all that pressure that was on Capper last week. Did he throw a pick? Do most?
Most
I don't.
teams throw picks.
No, no.
Oh,
Do most teams throw picks when they're under? Do most quarterbacks throw picks when they're under immense pressure?
yes and no. I mean, we've seen it all year where quarterbacks have been under pressure like crazy, and they haven't really turned the ball over. Like Gage Baker, there's times where he didn't turn the ball over, and he was under pressure by I
Is
think his
his
own.
is his TD to INT ratio what, like 10-8?
Yeah, but he had like 4 in the first game.
He
Yeah,
was probably. I bet that was the Pueblo game.
yeah, his
They were
first
they were all over him.
his first ever college game.
I don't think, but nonetheless, I say all that to say I don't think Highlands is about to get after Capra the way Ricky and the boys did last week. So I don't, I think Highlands can be competitive in this one. I think this one could be very similar to that 21 tilt if you go back to that one where Highlands can come out and I think Highlands can punch mines in the mouth. Like, would I be surprised if Jeffrey Jones busts a long one? I would not at all. But do I think Mines? I think Mines still has enough. I still think they have enough leadership. Capper's not hurt. I think Max Barnes is really coming on. 2 weeks in a row. I think he's been really impressive. You can just lean on him more and more, give him more carries. But I think Mines gets this done. I think Joshua Best was really impressive last week too. That connection. I don't know if Pierce Richards is going to be out. He got hurt pretty early in the Western game, and I thought he was Capra's favorite target. But seeing him, do a whole game without him, I think that connection with Best really started popping off. And I think the Ore Diggers will bounce back at home. Playing the number 5 team in the country is different than playing New Mexico Highlands, even though this is the New Highlands. And I think mine showed in that first half. They still are extremely talented team. So I think the Ore Diggers will get it done. Hopefully it's a big showing. Hopefully Highlands can get that real golden experience of seeing that place when it's rocking. But I'll take the Ore Diggers to win by at least 10 points. We said this game had bigger implications for us. That's why we got it third on the docket. Could Adams do it? Does Adams get their first win? Do they get their win for the season, or are they going to go 2 years winless?
I don't know. I don't know how to tell you. I think they have a chance out of any week. This is their best chance. But we've also seen Fort Lewis, they played games where they just learned how to lose the game is what it felt like. And so I mean if it depends it really depends what Fort Lewis teams comes out. Is it the team that plays down and just keeps these teams close and gives you chances? Adams is good about taking, opportunities and when they get them, they do what they can. Their defense is their biggest struggle right now. You're averaging 500 yards total defense. I mean, I'm pretty sure that means like in per game, you're averaging like 5 to 10 yards per play. So I mean, I don't I don't know. I don't think Adams gets the win. I think they get their closest defeat in the year because I think Fort Lewis is just they're not losing this game. But if Fort Lewis comes out and turns the ball over 3 times in the first half, like we've seen them happen all throughout the year, don't be surprised to see Adams win this game. Overall prediction, I'm gonna say this is a less than 5 point game. There's going to be a safety somehow. I don't know how it's going to happen, but there's always a safety in this game.
I think I wouldn't say a safety for sure. You know what I'm guessing for sure happens? Special teams touchdown. I don't know if it's a
Somewhere, yeah.
blocked kick, a punt return, a kick return. Special teams, somebody scored on special teams, and whoever does it wins the game.
Yep. Yep. I'm right there with
So
you.
So obviously, I'm picking the Skyhawks to win it because Jacob Penny is going to block a punt, pick it up, and run it back to the house for a
by
touchdown.
himself. Yeah,
He's going to do it all himself.
I think that you hit it right on the head. Special teams is going to win this game. There's going to be
Mhm,
a lot of punts. I'll tell you that much. There's going to be a ton of
mhm.
punts. So who makes the play out of it? And then the few opportunities you get on kickoff, how do you do with that?
No, but in all seriousness, I look forward to the matchup of just seeing Penny trying to spy Gavin
Hmm.
because Gavin isn't he is we say this week in and week out, he's a different athlete. Like
Yep.
people don't understand so you're like really there in person with him and playing him, but he's a different athlete. I imagine they're gonna have Penny spying him because if they're watching film, they got to see the dual threat ability. What's it gonna look like if Penny catches him, catches him?
I might have to make fun of Gavin a little bit. I mean, Gavin's fast. For the people that don't know, I've got a really good, strong relationship with him. He's a fast kid. He's a incredible athlete. He can play a lot of different positions. We already found out he can't play safety, so we can knock that out of there. Um, but you know,
Can he withstand the Penny hit?
oh yeah. Gavin's that physical type where he's gonna lower. We've seen it with Mines when he doesn't know how to score, gets tackled at the 1 yard line, and then he's gotta go force it in himself. He takes a good hit, he delivers it and he takes it and he gets up. And I don't know, man. The more I talk about it, maybe Adams does get their first win, but I'm also
Are you about to talk yourself into it?
I might. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna talk myself into it somehow. I'm gonna take Adams to win less than 5 points. Sorry, I flipped it, Skyhawk Nation, but I'm gonna Grizzly down, and I don't ever root for green.
You've
So
been rocking with the Skyhawks all year, and they've let you down 7 times in a row.
yeah, yeah,
So I think it's fair for you to give the Grizzlies a shot.
yep. I think I'm going with Adams. I think I've taken them to also win a lot of games this year, but this is when they actually win it. Give me Adams State to win me this first one.
Now that there, folks, is how you talk somebody into, doing something they shouldn't do for your own gain. We're in this pick 'em together.
True,
Give
true.
me the Skyhawks, bro. What? Skyhawks in Durango? Adams has to go up? Oh yeah. Give me the Skyhawks by I don't know what the spread is. I don't be looking at the spread in the pick 'em until at least Friday. But give me the Skyhawks by 10. I don't have very much confidence in the Skyhawks offense, exploding. That kind of seems to be the trend versus this Adams State iteration of their defense, but I don't really trust the Skyhawks to explode offensively. I think they do just enough, but I think their defense is going to be entirely too much. I think they have the opportunity to really put on a strong, like dominant defensive effort. Uh, I think they have pretty solid DB play. Obviously, Jacob Penny's leading the way. I don't think Adams has much of a ground game outside of Gavin creating just magic with his legs. I think with Penny spying on him, which I imagine that's what they're gonna what he's getting coached up to do, I think all that gets shut down. Um, to be honest, like call me crazy. Give me Fort Lewis to win and they get the shutout.
Oof, 2-0.
No, I told you there's gonna be a special team score, 9-0.
Oh yeah,
Plus
9-0.
nine, yeah. I
And
don't
it's
know if
gonna
it's
be off
plus
of
or
a
minus.
block kick. It's gonna be off a block field goal, and that's how they score, and that's just the end of it. And then Fort Lewis misses the extra point somehow, so it's gonna be a 6-0 game.
No, in all seriousness, give me the Skyhawks though. I think the Skyhawks they get that second that elusive RMAC win, and tough scenes for the Grizzlies. But hey, this is a part of growing pains. This is a more intriguing. Disregard the records. Is it me or is this game going to be more intriguing than we think? Especially with Black Hills, getting that bye week. After just running this gauntlet and taking a lot of lumps through it, getting that week off to kind of reset. I imagine the team probably came together like this season obviously is not going how we wanted to, but like you said for those older minds kids, we can lay a foundation though in these last 3 or 4 games. It's up in Spearfish where I'll be honest with you, I never won there. They always dubbed me there. Can Black Hills can they finally get that second win?
Yeah, I think Black Hills has got a really good chance here. They're like we said, take out the records out of it. They're still probably one of the best 1-17s in the nation. Like we say it every week after they lose, they're still one of the best. Whatever. If it really depends
Gosh.
which team shows up. Is this going to be a refreshed and you know show up ready Black Hills team, or is it going to be the same
Those
thing we've
past
seen
two
the past
weeks,
3 weeks?
those past 2 weeks against Pueblo and Western were brutal. But
Yeah,
I mean, those are teams
they're
that
the
we
top
think are
dogs.
going to be playing late into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, and do I think they have the chance? Yes, but then I jump back over. I don't think they have a chance against Colorado Mesa. It'll probably be next week. Black Hills has got a chance somehow, but I think Colorado Mesa's. I mean, they're just a good team. They're able to run the ball like they are. Like if they do it like they did last week, and how they've actually been able to run the ball, I don't see Black Hills being able to stop them on the run. Um, and then kind of flip it. Mace's defense has been playing pretty well lately. Um, other than Cash getting burnt and giving up touchdowns.
Ah man,
Um,
I hate to you bag on Gavin a lot and Cash. I do love you, but hey man, come on, dude. He's
yep,
about to play. He's playing Chuck Warren this week too.
yep, and that's also a thing for Black Hills. Who does TJ eat, and then you have that guy just running all over the field. Who's playing quarterback for you? Kind of
Is
same
Luke
question.
Doobie back?
Yeah, same question kind of from Mesa. I mean, who's playing quarterback for you? Who are you giving the most carries to? Um, is a receiver going to pop up and make some special plays? In a weird way, I think this is also going to come down to special teams. Sullivan Moon being able to boot it. Um,
Shout out to Morgan Moon, man.
yep, but I think it's going to be a special teams game, but I think Mesa handles it controllably. Controllable.
There's part of me telling me like, and maybe this is just like, me relying on like my own experiences or like harping back on like nightmares of me taking a 14-hour ride to Spearfish just to lose and ride back home thinking about how we lost. But I think there's two things we can be sure of in this game. TJ Chuck War is gonna score a touchdown
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
He's scoring a touchdown. And Aiden Taylor is going to run for 100 yards. And although TJ scoring a touchdown is big for Black Hills, I think when Aiden Taylor rushes for 100 yards, it's a lot more effective and it goes a lot further towards winning for the Mavericks than when TJ scores touchdowns for the Yellow Jackets. So I'm gonna go with you, Draper. I hate agreeing with you, but give me the math. Give me the Mavs. I do think this is going to be, those past 2 weeks I talked about how Black Hills played up and down to their level of competition. They did not do that in those Western or Pueblo games. I don't think Mesa is Western or Pueblo, so I do think Black Hills will compete. Go back and forth. It is at their home place. It's a day game, so I imagine they come out in those black jerseys looking sweet. The sun's out. I could see them, having some success early, but I think that ground game and that offensive line for Mesa eventually pushes through. But I mean, if there is a team that could stop it, like if Kellen Collier has, his best game this year, could they shut down that ground game? It is definitely possible. But my gut's telling me the Mavericks will get it done. I love what Aiden Taylor's been able to do. And you know what else other bold prediction I'll make? I think last week was his streak got ended, but he's gonna reignite that turnover streak this week. I don't know if it's a
Okay.
strip, I don't know if it's an interception, but give me Mr. Leaf Green to make a big play on the road and in a pivotal moment that's gonna, you know, slant the game in the favor of the Mavs. RMAC Insider thinks your boy Trek the receiver is gonna have a big game.
Trek the key retriever.
But our last game, or is this our last game? I don't believe this is this our last game?
I think so. Yeah.
Probably the game that we're probably expecting to be the least competitive. I would guess that Shadron's gonna handle business. I know this is somewhat of a rivalry. I know like it's more of a rivalry than I'm aware of. You know, obviously I'm a Colorado guy, so I'm more aware of all the Colorado stuff. But I do believe this is a rivalry as well. But I just think Shadron is a, you know, they're geared up for these last few big games. I think they're gonna handle business. I don't think they stumped their toe. I think coming off a bye week, I don't think they're going to overlook him. I'm sure their coach was harping on him like, hey, you overlook this Gage Baker kid, he'll go out here and torch you guys. So I think Shadron, they're going to come out and get it done. I think they win in convincing fashion, too, by at least like 14 points. What say you, Draper?
Yeah, big rivalry jump in. They're an hour and 36 minutes apart. So this
Pretty
is
close.
a pretty big rivalry. I think Shadron's just got too much. Their train is just rolling, and they're a wagon for sure. That offense has just been moving different lately. South Dakota Mines has been able to find with some rhythm
They
lately.
That defense be hitting.
But the real defense of the game is going to be Shadron's. So they're going to create a lot of havoc, a lot of chaos. They're going to get a lot of turnover. I don't know if they're going to get a lot of turnovers, but they're going to force their opportunities for turnovers and get some sacks. The offense just can't be stopped from anything that I've seen South Dakota Mines do right so far. I don't think they can truly get in the way of what Shadron can produce. I got Shadron by this probably 20, 21. I really think they're going to handle them. And they're next week, we're going to be looking at a ranked Shadron team. We're going to be looking at the ranked regional.
I'm sorry. I don't know if they get ranked coming off the win over SD Mines.
I think they get ranked only because they're receiving so many votes, and some of these teams that are in front of them are playing each other, and they're going to knock
Oh,
each other
okay.
out. And so they're falling in. But they're regional. They were released this last week in the regional rankings. Obviously, it was alphabetical order. They're in it. I think their strength of schedule honestly puts them a little bit higher. I remember the two losses are, they're pretty
One
good
doesn't
team.
count.
Yeah, one's the
The UNC
UNC,
one doesn't count.
and they don't look at it. But I mean, that's still a game where, I mean, they could have won that game. They could be 7-1 here. And then Kearney, we just watched Kearney play. It was Northwest Missouri. Played them in a
Held them
really
to 14 after they put 52 on Hayes.
yeah. So I mean, I think Shadron's going to be a team that next week we're going to be looking at and saying, okay, they get in the playoffs, and then they're going to have a great game next week. So like we said, the final 2 weeks are shifting out. Everybody's got to play each other out, and the final 3 weeks, sorry, are kind of playing right now, and everybody's got to play each other, and that's the best thing about right now. We're going to see kind of where we're looking next week.
Does our guy, Mr. Consistency, Tommy Thomas, get 100 yards and another touchdown this week?
I think he tied Shadron's record, so now he's going to break the record. He's going to take over maybe sole possession of most touchdowns in the nation if he can get 2-3 more. I think you're going to feed him. I think Shadron's going to feed on him and lead on him. But Aiden's also going to just be the quarterback that he's been doing, man. I mean, he's a gamer as well.
Well, we both got Shadron in that one as well. Always want to thank the guys that help us make this show possible. Mr. Titus Cleveland over there at Carrie X and Fox 4 News out in Grand Junction. Really appreciate you and all the guys over there at the station. Love all the people over there. I used to work there myself. And then Mr. Cody Bush over there at the RMAC offices and the RMAC network as a whole. Just being able to provide us with some highlights for that big game out in Gunnison. We really appreciate it. But man, there's a couple comments that I just want to pull back up. We wanted to get JD on the record. Western by 10. By 10? That's because he obviously anybody that knows JD, Mr. MIAA, and Pueblo played two MIAA teams where they went 1-1, and we know how that Central Missouri one was. So JD has them by 10. Mr. Rakowski, uh, can Western score 50? And I mean, when you got a president leading the way, anything's possible, right?
Truth.
So, um, those were a couple big ones that really caught my attention. Uh, but yeah, dude, another great show, another great week. I cannot wait to talk about next week's. To break down. It's just gonna be fireworks, dude. Do you got big plans, man? This is gonna be your baby boy's first Western Pueblo matchup, dude. You got any big plans?
Yeah. Hopefully I can get off work fast. It's gonna be the first of the month, so we always do
Oh
like
man.
you make a sale, you go home. So that'd be awesome if I made a sale in the morning, I can leave. Um, my favorite thing is it's also gonna be my boy's first Halloween, and me and my
Oh
fiance have been
yeah.
pretty excited about that. I'm gonna be Woody, she's gonna be Bo Peep, and he's gonna be one.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be the sheep. So we're kind of excited about that, and then really just excited to watch football in general. This week there's D1, D2, D3 games that are fun. Um, I don't really want to watch any more football on Sundays. I think I'm gonna stop watching football on Sundays now. And I saw a comment earlier. The only
I
reason,
wasn't even gonna bring it up and
yeah,
drag you for it.
I'll,
You
I will say it. So hey, I will wear my Broncos next week. I literally came straight from work. Like y'all have no idea. I was gunning it down I-20 or I-40, gunning it to get here because I felt bad. I was telling AC that I was going to be. I told you what an hour and a half ago that I was trying to finish this deal and it just didn't go through and took forever. And I was like, man, all right, I'm getting home. Got home, came straight on. So next week I got all you Broncos fans. Y'all got it. Y'all got lucky.
we love it.
Y'all
We
got
didn't get
lucky.
lucky.
Yeah,
We
y'all got.
dominated you.
We left the whole Cowboys organization in Dallas and then took off to Denver is what happened. Um,
That's what
but
happens when teams come up to the Mile High.
yeah, they stopped breathing. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a great game, great week. You got anything excited for the Halloween?
I'm gonna be boots on the ground. I'm boots on the ground. I'm a little old for Halloween. My son's gonna do his thing, obviously, but I'm a little old to partake anymore. But I'm looking forward to the weekend. Gonna be boots on the ground. I just can't wait to be up in Gunnison for this game. I just feel like it's gonna be fireworks. So, hey, I'll be there up in Gunnison. I hope to see you guys there, and if not, we'll definitely see you back here next week, hopefully. But thank you guys for your time. For me and Draper, we'll catch you guys later.